Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita bersama. May peace be upon us. Shalom, salam kebajikan. Om Swastiastu. Good afternoon to all of you distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the closing session of the Asia-Pacific Regional Conference on Population Aging. The journey is never ending. There's only growth, improvement, adversity, do what is right, continue to grow, and continue to live in the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the closing session of the conference, and we are very delighted as this afternoon, already joining us in this ballroom, the Yayasan Among Lansia or YEL Indonesia Help Age Global Network member, Ibu Eva Sabdono, and then also the Director General of Social Rehabilitations, the Ministry of Social Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Bapak Supomo, the Deputy Minister for Children, Women and Youth Quality Improvement, Coordinating Minister for Human Development and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia, Ibu Woro Srihastuti As, Director of the Social Development Division, ESCAP, Mr. Srinivas Tata, Asia Pacific Regional Representative, Help Age International, Mr. Eduardo Klin, Deputy Minister for Populations and Manpower, the Ministry of National Development Planning of the Republic of Indonesia, Bapak Maliki, and last but not least, of course, all of the distinguished speakers, delegates, moderators, and the participants. It is indeed a pleasure to be able to gather back to this Pechatu Hall for our closing sessions of the Asia-Pacific Regional Conference on Populating Aging. Allow me please to introduce myself. My name is Dian Ariswari, and on behalf of the organizing committee, Bapenas, UNFPA, and Help Age International, it is with great pleasure that we extend our warmest welcome to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. And for this afternoon, we're going to start the closing session by continuing the agenda, discussing regarding reframing aging, reflections on the conference. And the session itself will be moderated by Mr. Eduardo Klin, the Asia-Pacific Regional Representative of Help Age International. Mr. Klin, the time is yours.
Thank you. Before starting, may I ask, we will have a short presentation by one of the best presenters in Asia Pacific, Mr. Stuart Hittel-Basten, and we'll have 4 comments from Professor Tribudi. May I ask you to please come here? Philip O'Keefe, Srinivas Tata, Rohit Prasad, please take a seat. The presentation will be very short, trying to sum up the main reflections. It's not an outcome of every session. We'll do that later. We'll see the big ideas that have been gathered in this session. So, Stuart. Professor, please. In the middle. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Eduardo. No pressure there. So actually, just before I start, I just wanted to say a quick thank you. I've been involved with Eduardo and the rest of the team in organizing and arranging some of the sessions. I just want to say a big thank you to all of the session leads who've been amazing at getting these program up and running. But then also, of course, for the team, the translators, the interpreters, the sign language interpreters, all the technical team, and of course, the Help Age team who are working so hard, Jing and Si and Oi and everybody else there. So just to say a big thank you before I get started. So My job here is to try and encapsulate everything that's happened in the last 2 days, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But what I'm not going to do is just describe everything that has happened, because we have a report for that, and then there's, to be honest, AI will do a better job of that than I will be able to do, right? So we will have a report which will come out in the next few weeks, which is kind of wrapping up and giving an overview of what has occurred in the conference. But of course, as you'll have seen, we've tried to cover these 6 various different key themes, plus other different aspects relating to reframing aging. But as Eduardo said right at the start, the whole point of our discussions is not just to describe what's going on, but to address these issues, right? To kind of respond to them and say, well, how can we best respond to these particular issues? Now, of course, like me, you will have listened to a lot of the presentations, a lot of the discussions, and a lot of the themes which have come up are these kind of recurring bad dreams that we have. I think we all have bad dreams, recurring bad dreams, right? And there are clearly these recurring bad dreams which are coming up over and over again about missed opportunity. And we learn and we talk a lot about various different inequalities, particularly gendered, rural, urban, socio-economic inequalities, about informal work and how a lifetime of informal work has consequences for individuals, but also consequences for capacity, being able to fund services, being able to develop and roll out services, and that's related to capacity as well. That we have all of these wonderful plans and wonderful ideas that we want to implement, but actually having the capacity to deliver, the capacity to pay for them is not always so straightforward. And of course, there's no point in us ignoring the continuation of discrimination and ageism, which still haunts Asia-Pacific and, of course, all other regions of the world. But what I wanted to do, though, is to look at some of the kind of a broader theme and broader themes which have been coming across both in this conference, but then also as the conferences, the Asia-Pacific conferences have developed over the last decade or more. Because, of course, our instinct is always to think about, well, these are the things that we need to fix, right, in our community, in our world. But if we spend our entire life fixing things, then there's a danger that we never create anything. We never create something new and something better. And so I think the first kind of paradigm shift that we would aim to achieve then is to go from fixing to transforming, to making a better world. So it's about thinking, well, what is the system or what is the world that we want to achieve and how do we get there? And the conference here and throughout all the different sessions of the conference have, I think, in various different ways been addressing that, right? Of looking at, well, where do we want to be, where do we want to go, and how do we get there? Of course, even the name of the conference, about reframing aging, and a conference on population aging, is a reflection of this paradigm shift which has gone on maybe unnoticed over the last 10 or 20 years. How when we talk about population aging, we talk about issues relating to age, we're not just talking about vulnerable older people. We're not just talking about older people. We're not just even talking about future older people. We're talking more holistically about the process of population aging as a global megatrend which is happening in every single country of the world. So going from to this idea of population aging being a whole of society concept. And so I just want to identify, I think, what has been coming out of the sessions of these other different paradigm shifts which have occurred. So I think the first is relating to how we frame aging. And of course, this is something which we've all been very active and fighting for. And I think it's probably the most obvious paradigm shift of moving away from the language of dependency, which I'm afraid we demographers still perpetuate, and vulnerability towards one of opportunity and empowerment. So this is about making the most of every single person's potential, regardless of age, which of course is a core ICPD principle. And then when all of that potential is met, then we have the potential to calculate the sum of the pieces, whether or not this is silver economy, productive aging, caregiving, second and third demographic dividend. So a much more based on opportunity and an empowering paradigm. I think the second paradigm shift in how we're framing aging is to switch from this rather rigid kind of one-size-fits-all, older people, over 60, everybody's the same. No, of course not. Moving towards a much more flexible, human-centered, more individualized approach to aging. So what are to design more flexible systems that respond to need, but also enable potential. And of course, this is on how we conceptualize and we measure aging. We've talked about national transfer accounts, boundaries to age, prospective aging, and so on. I think the second set of paradigm shifts that we've seen is how we formulate and engage with policy. So this has gone from, well, let's create some policies for older people towards age mainstreaming and age-sensitive interventions. So this involves taking a life cycle approach to aging, of delinking population aging from just talking about older people, which I've already talked about, but also recognizing that age is a genuine factor in this. We can't write off age entirely as a factor in shaping the lived experiences of people around the world. And of course, this needs to be rights-based. Okay? So we create a rights-based age mainstream age-sensitive interventions. And then linked to that is this important move away from older persons in particular as policy objects to being policy subjects. And this is a theme which has been talked a lot over the conference. So as older persons, as active agents in policy formulation, rather than just passive receivers of policy. So becoming change agents, about co-creating change and co-creating interventions, and then of course leveraging the collective bargaining power of older persons. And then finally, we talked a lot about the paradigm shifts in terms of design and implementation. So I think in the past, and still to a certain degree today, a lot of policy relating to population aging has been fragmented. Whether or not this is about, well, we're going to just deal with pension reform, or we're going to just deal with health and social reform, or on the other hand, we're going to raise fertility, or we will lower fertility in this very kind of fragmented way. But now I think we have a more holistic approach. So this is more holistic in the things that we do. So we're talking about integrated care plans. We talk about how social and defined pensions work together. But also, just the range of policies and interventions in the last 2 days has been remarkable, going from biochar to AI to everything in between, right? The number of things that we can do has multiplied exponentially. And of course, this is about changing ecosystems, right? Rather than just changing individual policies, it's about changing entire systems. But then also how we do things, to be intersectoral, to be multisectoral, to have intergenerational partnerships. And then finally, this shift away from policy being top-down implementation and top-down intervention to being something where we trust individuals, we trust communities, we look at a bottom-up approach, but then it goes to scale. How do we take bottom-up interventions and community interventions up to scale and then bring them back down to the local level by remixing and adapting? Of course, this is about the power of community, older persons associations, intergenerational groups, and making the most of what are collectively millions of years of experience. So just to return, and this is my last slide, so just to make the final point, as I said earlier, we talked about what is the world that we want to achieve, and it can become very difficult I think when we are looking at all of these various different policies, whether it's as I say, from biochar to AI to social pensions to digitalization to everywhere in between, it can be difficult for us to try and tie it all together. And I do think that we can go back to ICPD, to the second principle of ICPD, to find one thing which can unite everything, and I think can unite us all, which is the bit that I've underlined here, which is about countries and employers and other organizations and communities and families and whatever it is, should ensure that all individuals are given the opportunity to make the most of their potential. And I think this is a theme which has come up time and time again over the last 2 days, and I think it's something which, when we consider reframing aging and we're looking for something to reframe it around, we could probably do a lot worse than this example here. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Stuart. We'll have 4 brief comments before our closing ceremony. We start with Dr. Srinivas Tata. He's Director of the Social Division of the UN SCAP.
Thank you, Eduardo. Knowing so much that's been said and the brilliant speakers that are going to follow, I'm going to focus on some of the key reflections. One, on the conference itself, the way it was organized. I cannot recall a more comprehensive multi-stakeholder meeting of the recent past on population aging. You had governments, you had civil society organizations, you had UN agencies, development banks, international organizations, above all, older persons and also younger persons. I think for me, one of the biggest takeaways and impressions that I have of this meeting is the wonderful multi-stakeholder, nature of it. And I think every person that you spoke to, and as you illustrated, they were from 38 countries. You turned around, they're from different walks of life, but all of us with common purpose on looking at improving the lives of older persons. And as someone, we organize intergovernmental meetings regularly, but this is a meeting with a difference. And I think I would like to congratulate you on that. Secondly, we also saw the meeting in a way that it was organized. There were sessions which showcased very grassroots, micro-level examples about how things were actually done. And they were also complemented by presentations and interventions which illustrated the higher policy-level interventions and allowed us to make a linkage of what kind of ecosystem, how do we then have policies that really help some of these successful micro-level initiatives work. And rarely in a meeting do you get that. So in terms of organization, I saw these were the 2 really big strengths of this meeting, apart from many other things, but I'm going to just focus on a few, leaving a few to the others. In terms of substantive outcomes, in terms of reframing aging, I think there are a few ways in which I believe we have made a start here. One, compared to other conferences, whether it be Tehran, Hanoi, and it's such a relief to be convening in person after such a long time. We, for the first time, have tried to look at aging in the context of the other mega trends. So your sessions on aging and climate change, aging and our sessions on digital economy, aging and other crises that are going around. Having that sort of an interlinkage allowed us to identify issues. Perhaps we know there are core issues related to aging, related to pension, related to health, but we made an effort to see this interlinkage with the broader mega trends. And I think that was a start, and we need to strengthen this work in the future. And that was really something that was. But I'd like to point out just a few other messages. I know one thing that really stood out, thanks to the presence of young people, thanks to the pre-events that took place from South Foundation, thanks to even the work that we did before, and all the discussions on digital technology, was the importance of intergenerational solidarity. This is an issue. We saw that there's practical ways of strengthening it, practical ways of implementing it. Intergenerational solidarity is something that we have to build upon and strengthen. It's no longer a cliche. It's something that we need to work upon as we look ahead. There are a number of other issues, but I think one issue is decentralized implementation. We are talking a lot about national level policies, but a number of the CSOs as well as other organizations are pointing out the need to work at the community level and at the level of the community, and at a decentralized level for really some of the initiatives to work. Thank you very much. Let me end.
Thank you, Srinivas. Professor Tribudi.
Thank you, Mr. Eduardo. First of all, I would like to express our gratitude and my appreciation to Dr. Lily Indrawati and Dr. Dinar Karisma, who helped me to prepare 3 minutes comments, but I try to do the best, only 1 minute. Distinguished guests, it is my honor to be allowed to join the conference and offer commentary on this concluding session. In our opinion, reframing aging signifies a central theme in the transformation shift towards viewing aging as an opportunity for society evolution. By reframing aging, 2024 Asia Pacific Regional Conference aims to inspire innovative strategies and prioritize equity and well-being across generations. We really appreciate all stakeholders from policymakers internationally and nationally in all levels, researchers, academicians, government and non-government organizations have properly support to re-image about aging societies and advocate for dignified, purposeful lives for older persons. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express what our feel. The impression of the discussion and our recommendation are as follows. First, reframing aging is absolutely needed to transform the future policy and programs on population aging in Asia Pacific and the world. Second, National Commission for Older Persons should be established in all countries under policy support of UN. With concerning on aging as a life course, we suggest that the name of the Older Person Commission should be National Commission on Population Aging. Third, aging is a process is a life course. It means that in terms of multidimensional services as a mainstream to become dignified older person. In this regard, intergenerational support is very important. Fourth, aging is a process, should be understood through education from early life. It means that to be formally through curriculum and informally as a programs established by community. The last but not least, higher education institution as a partner should be age-friendly. It means that the curriculum on aging or gerontology should be implemented in multidisciplinary study programs as well as establishing Center for Aging to implement training and community service. Allow me to show something that unique. We have developed a model that is established in Indonesia, especially in our university. Now, let me share to you the example of age-friendly university that we developed. This is just for the example that when we start with the vision that we are age-friendly university, So it means that we have to establish education, research, and community service under the all study programs. It means that gerontology should be implemented in all study programs. We also established Center for Family and Aging in 2018 under the BKKBN, and nowadays we have so many programs that we have implemented and also to be part of the policy and program that we start to use the research result to be the program and policy. One of the example, we have conducted a research on intergenerational support from young generation to older person. The result shows that among 7 dimensions of wellness, this is about emotional, spiritual, physical, intellectual, vocational, and environmental, showed that young generation support the older person using all dimensions. And also, the older person gives support to young generation in all dimensions except physically and vocationally. This is the example how the AIDS-friendly university should be work. And we are part of the global network of AIDS-friendly university that follow what is the Dublin has established. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you. So my reflections are based on us working as a community-based organization, and we are proud members of the HelpAge network. Since yesterday, there has been lots of discussions and interactions, and we are very inspired and enthused to pursue the mission. So I'll just like to share 3-4 reflections. The first one is on the need for a country strategy. And why do I say that? Most countries have had policies, but the strategy is a very different document. And I saw that the Indonesian government has already put a national plan for national strategy for later in 2021 itself. Now, the strategy has these elements of being long-term, starting early, life course approach, and multi-sectoral. My own country, India, we set up the policy in 1999, but now we have instituted a committee to build strategy for 2050. So the aging in the development space has started taking center stage, and that's very fulfilling, I'm sure, for all of us. The second aspect is the LMIC context, and that got covered very strongly. But in that context, there is an underlying aspect of shortage of resources, and we know resources are not being allocated enough for the elder sector. So the idea that family will be the mainstay is something that all will believe in, and we have looked at the government for most of the actions. But what we have missed out is my hypothesis would be that what we have missed out is the aspect of investment in communities. And over the last 2 days, I saw a lot of resonance, a lot of discussion on community-based investments. And why is that important? Because that's possibly the only way in which the countries, LMICs would do the journey, but yet be able to build an ecosystem for elders if we invest in communities. And I hope that the evidence that even the World Bank presented is enough. There's a lot of evidence around for us to go back to community-based models. So that's something that I would very much emphasize on. The third aspect, very quickly, is that we have seen elderly as a vulnerable population. Welfare has been the most dominant approach. But we also have a large pool of elders coming up who are able, who are active, and who have aspiration. So this is the vibrant elderly population coming up. And there are some areas that we have not invested enough. We have done a fair bit of investments and attention to health and care, So there are three areas I would like to highlight. One is, of course, the productive potential and the workforce beyond 60. The second is lifelong learning, which I believe has not been invested. Very little investment has gone on, so a lot of effort should go towards building lifelong learning options for seniors. And the third is digital. And digital, we know opportunity is huge, but the divide is also huge. So how do we bridge that? And we got a chance, we were fortunate to partner with ESCAP to do a session jointly on technology and aging. And the sense was that a lot more needs to be done. And the partnership with ESCAP is also a partnership of a CSO with a leading development institution. And that's the spirit that I would like to share with all of you, that with a very inclusive approach, with a very open approach, they were partnering with us and we were partnering with them. And that possibly is the compact between governments, CSOs, and development institutions that could indeed become a powerful force. So I leave you with that thought and with a very positive sense looking ahead towards shaping our journey together for a better world for elders. Thank you.
Thank you, Eduardo. Distinguished guests and everybody, thank you very much for asking me to say a few words. I want to say one thing on terminology, a couple of observations on the conference, and a couple of things I took away that kind of made me reopen my thinking a bit, or kind of think that I don't even begin to understand things I thought I understood. The first one on terminology on aging, between aging and longevity. I think aging can be a very useful term in many contexts, but in other contexts it's not useful at all. Longevity, I think, has longevity as a term, perhaps, if we could say that. So I think it sounds like a semantic point, but actually when you're making the argument in society or to policymakers or to others, longevity can often be a more active term, a more dynamic term that captures some of the terminology or the themes that Stuart was talking about. Not always. If you're talking to a Ministry of Finance, ageing is a good scary term to use to them if you want them to allocate more money. So that's a terminology point. Second point, Srinivas has already talked about, which is the multi-stakeholder nature of this gathering. I used to work for an international organisation. I now work for a university. And I know when I worked for the international organisation, I used to love coming here to meet the diversity of players that you do meet here. CSOs, old age persons, organisations, researchers and others. And now as an academic, I feel exactly the same way, but for a different constellation of people. It's really, really unusual to get this mix of people in a room. And I know sometimes in sessions that means that you get a bit frustrated. One of the technical people is presenting and you're thinking, oh my God, this is so nerdy. Or one of the more community-based people is presenting and the technical person's thinking, oh my God, this is too touchy-feely. But I think we all learn from one another despite those frustrations at times. So I agree with Srinivas on the value of that. The second observation is connecting the dots, and I think Stuart talked about this in the current world of fragmentation of policy making. One thing I was struck by in all the sessions was just how interrelated every issue, thematic issue that we dealt with was. Pensions were connected to labour markets, care was connected to women's labour force participation, and on it goes. Technology was connected to all of them. That's great, and I think the evidence of some of those interconnections is becoming richer over time, and that's a real positive. Unfortunately, governments don't usually work that way, as we know. They work in ministries, they work in their own silos, and so getting that intellectual or research or evidence base that is more holistic is a really important first step. But how governments organise themselves to respond to that and to make policy in that light, I think, remains a challenge throughout the world. It's not confined to Asia, it's not confined to emerging economies. I think there are good examples in the world, the Scandinavians, I think the Singaporeans, your own country in Indonesia, with some of the leadership you have here, I think are really good models. One thing I do observe, and I apologise if I offend anybody in the audience, when policies are led primarily, and I worked in social welfare and social protection my whole career, from just there, they tend to reinforce the kind of dependency notion, the frailty notion about older people. So I think the role of core agencies in policy coordination is so important, and that's why the role of Bappenas in Indonesia is so vital, I think. So they're the observations. Two thoughts. This is where I kind of come away in a positive way, less clear than I was when I came. One is about intergenerational issues. I think when we talk often about intergenerational issues, we inherit a language that comes from the West, where parents and their children and their grandchildren live separately, and they have done for, often generations. They didn't always. 100 years ago in the United States, they all, most people lived together. But in Asia and in much of the developing world, we know in most of your countries, co-residence, multi-generational co-residence is the norm. And probably will remain the norm in many countries, even though it's changing in countries like China and Korea and other places. So I think thinking about what intergenerational policies mean when you have such high co-residence should start from quite a different place than it did in the West, where you already had very different living arrangements and household arrangements. I don't know how to carry that through, but it's something certainly that I want to reflect on more after this conference, what intergenerational means and what the intra-household stuff means. Again, there I think we've still got a much thinner evidence base of intra-household dynamics between men and women across generations, etc. The other area where I come away kind of reflecting is on informality. It was mentioned by Stuart as one of the cross-cutting themes. I worry that there's a tendency to say informal is always bad. Formal is great, informal's bad. Well, it's true in certain sense. We know formal workers are more productive. We know that they have better social protection arrangements and other things. But think of the alternative, no informal sector. What are all those people going to do? They're not going to suddenly become formal. So I think we need to treat the informal sector with a lot more respect and not assume it's going away. And in fact, if anything, maybe it's running in the opposite direction with gig work and other more portfolio careers of younger people. I know my own children, I ask them what they're doing for work at times and they tell me 3 or 4 things rather than one thing. And that's going to be increasingly the norm. So the whole barrier between formal and informal, which we define from the back end via social security arrangements or written contracts or other things, I think we've got to get away from thinking about this as rigidly as we do and think the informal sector, I think you all know, and I certainly know from living in developing countries, it's often the most dynamic people you meet in the informal sector. Because they have to, be dynamic to survive. So that whole formal informality, I think, kind of, always making the informal bad is not a constructive way to think about it, and that ultimately we should be thinking about status neutrality of work and policies. So that's another. The final thing, my Pacific Island colleagues asked me to mention from Fiji. I'm also from a Pacific island. It's a slightly larger one called Australia. But our colleagues from Fiji were stressing that there's great opportunity. The specifics of the Pacific compared to Asia are really quite specific, both from a cultural perspective and other perspectives. And I think there's great opportunity, both in future events like this, but maybe in regionally specific events or sub-regionally specific events to look at the Pacific more. That's my plug for my fellow South Pacific people. Thank you.
Thank you all for your comments and reflections. The main thing is that reframing aging means transitioning from here to a different way of approaching old age, aging societies, longevity, and thinking as a whole of societies, as a totality of societies. And we will make a report on the proceedings with our partners in the next couple of weeks. And you will all receive the summary of those sessions, the proceedings, the reflections, and what could be called the outcomes of this conference. The next conference, we'll announce it in the closure. Thank you very much for now, and a big applause for our presenters, Stuart, and the commentators. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our moderator, Mr. Eduardo Clean, and also all of the commentators as well as the presenter, Mr. Stuart Gito Baston, and also all of the commentators. Once again, Tri Budi Raharjo, Philip Alkifi, and also Rohit Prasad. So, ladies and gentlemen, now, as we are here in Bali, the islands of gods and also the islands of 1,000 temples, morning of the world, and also known as the tropical paradise. While Bali's richness goes beyond stunning beaches and also luxurious resorts, its richness also lies in the perfect harmony between its people, its traditions, the island's natural beauty. So it is our sincere hope that all of you enjoy the beautiful views here in Bali, the delicacies, and also unforgettable moments. And to even enrich your unforgettable moments during the APRC 2024, we would like to present you with a traditional welcoming dance. And this is also kind of a social dance in Bali. And what makes it even more special, because today we're going to see the dance itself performed by the integrated older people care of Bali. The social dance performed by both male and also female dancers, combining body movements with singing, and the male dancers known for incorporating the quechua elements, also blend with traditional dance with the movements itself. They will dance and singing happily, joyfully, often also engaging in playful interactions synchronized with the music and also the lyrics with the aim of revitalizing traditional cultural arts. The dance itself was created by Ana Agung Ngurah Astara, and the music arrangement is by Inyoman Sudiana. So ladies and gentlemen, we present to you a very special performance for this evening. This is the Jangir dance performed by the intergenerational art performance by the integrated older people care from Pedungan, the South Denpasar of Bali. Please welcome the dancers.
Terus kan gamal konean.
Kecak.
Terus gamal.
Kecaknya panggil.
Untuk yang
Ya.
ada apa?
Sana ingatmu sana lah.
Ya, saya yang di sana.
Saja pesing gitu.
Saya kan belum.
Kan Pak Bos sudah masuk. Tolong prepare.
Betul-betul.
Yang masih ngeliatin HP.
Betul lah bagi yang semangat.
Tidak bawa HP di sini. Semua di sana.
Di sini terus sana le.
Tidak bisa main, ngantuk jadi.
Jangan di sana kakinya. Jangan di sana kakinya.
Ya, belum kan ya. Biar ngomongnya soalnya mic-nya udah siang.
Susah. Udah menek di baju.
Mau balik nih ya, balik. Mana ini? Jangan balik tuh, ya kan di kiri. Jangan marah.
Masuk lah kak.
Ini kan. Ini kan.
Jadi malu.
As you may aware, ladies and gentlemen, as the part of the performance, so before delivering their best performance today, the representative, one of the lady, is also presenting the offerings.
Musik Wika, sangat dah. Gini.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's give a round of applause for the Janger Dance.
dengan seni jangkir.
Pancasila pakai dasar persatuan Indonesia. Pancasila pakai dasar persatuan Indonesia. Menjunjung persatuan ragam budaya.
Menjunjung persatuan ragam budaya. Bineka Tunggal Ika
dasar bernegara Indonesia.
Bineka Tunggal
Ika dasar bernegara Indonesia. Mari bangkitkan budaya Indonesia.
mangga ajak seni jangkir lan lestari. Jangkir ada si jangkir jangkir. Jangkir ada si jangkir ada si jangkir ada si jangkir ada si
Adi ayu mula adi jodoh berite. Adi ayu mula adi jodoh berite. Dua adi mesmirah di warna Mamadun buluan kena beli kedua mamosi.
Bali bagus mula Bali memata keranjang. Bali bagus mula Bali memata keranjang. Anyen ando ajak beli malam minggu. Nagakin ada mabok lantang marok mini.
Adi ayu muda adi ngomong gitu. Adi ayu muda adi ngomong gitu. Beli tresno kepengin adi 100%. Beli najo ayahin adi seumur
Let's give a round of applause to all of the Janger dancers. Thank you so much. We say matur suksema in the Balinese language. Matur suksema to all of the dancers. Thank you so much. Terima kasih. Once again, a round of applause to all of the performers, the musicians, and also the dancers. So what a captivating performance by the intergenerational art performance of the Integrated Older People Care from Pedungan. And it was performed by all of the dancers who are the seniors, aged up to or more than 60 years old. And even the oldest one is 83 years old, the dancers. Wow. So they've been trained themselves since like a half month ago to prepare to do their best in front of all of you. So ladies and gentlemen, that was the very beautiful and fascinating Jangya performance. And now let's continue the closing ceremony session with the next program. So now we're going to continue with the announcement of the 6th APA Asian Population Conference, or the APC. And therefore, I would like to invite to join me here on the stage the Secretary of Health, Nepal, and also the President of the 6th Asian Population Association Conference, to Mrs. Reiko Hayashi, and also to Mr. Hari Prasad Mainali. The stage is yours. Please give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Once again to Reiko Hayashi and Mr. Hari Prasad.
I truly thank UNFPA and HelpAge for us to give us small minutes to present Asian Population Association, which is going to make the conference in November. So it is Mr. Hari Prasad Mainali, Secretary of Ministry of Health and Population of Nepal, is going to introduce. And also, can you please put the slide which I registered? Thank you. So, please.
Okay, thank you. This is the Bogdanath, which is situated at Nepal's capital city, Kathmandu. So I want to make a small announcement about the Asian Population Association's conference, which is held in Kathmandu from November 27 to 2024. Distinguished delegates, esteemed colleagues, valued partners, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege to address to you today on behalf of the Government of Nepal and the Nepali delegation participating in this conference on aging. I am particularly excited to announce the upcoming 6th Asian Population Association APA conference, scheduled to take place in Kathmandu from November 27 to 30, 2024. For the first time, Nepal will host a major conference on population and development, focusing on critical issues such as low fertility and aging, migration, and urbanization, topics of great significance to our region. The conference will emphasize the interconnectedness of social, economic, and demographic factors, drawing on the latest demographic data and analysis to tackle critical population issues. It will serve a platform of exchanging research, finding and advancing the study of Asian demography. I encourage colleagues here at the Aging Conference to explore the APA conference website and consider participating. The event offers a fantastic opportunity to showcase your work, engage with leading experts, and contribute to the success of an event that fosters knowledge exchange and collaboration. The Government of Nepal, in partnership with the Central Department of Population Studies at Tribhuvan University of Nepal, and organizations like UNFPA, is proud to bring together demographers, government officials, civil society organizations, and key stakeholders from across Asia and beyond. This conference offers a unique platform for experts in population studies to share their insights, engage with local and regional policymakers, and help shape the future of population and development in Asia. A key focus of the conference will be to engage governments, NGOs, and civil society in discussions around policy options for addressing population challenges. Nepal is currently in the process of formulating a national population policy, and we plan to dedicate a session at the conference to enrich this policy framework, drawing on the valuable contributions and best practices from across the region. In addition to the important discussion at the conference, I warmly invite you to explore Nepal's rich cultural heritage and breathtaking landscapes. With a population of 29.2 million, Nepal is renowned for its cultural diversity, Himalayas, and welcoming communities and stunning natural beauty. November is a wonderful time to visit in Nepal, and we look forward to sharing our old heritage sites and traditions with you. We look forward to welcoming you all to Kathmandu for a conference that promises to be both productive and collaborative. Thank you.
So thank you very much for your attention. So website is here. We are going to have some 400 papers which were selected, and in addition to that, it is open for participation. Please register from here. So we hope to see you again in 2 months in Kathmandu. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to, once again, Mrs. Reiko Hayashi and also Mr. Hari Prasad Mainali for the invitations and also the announcement regarding the 6th APA Asian Population Conference. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, now we are very close to the end of the APRC 2024, and we will now hear a closing remarks delivered from the Yayasan Among Lansia YEL Indonesia, or the Help Age Global Network members, as now we will welcome on the stage Ibu Eva Sabdono.
distinguished guests, dear colleagues, friends, and all participants. First of all, allow me to express my gratitude to the organizers, Bapanas, Help Each International, and FPA to give me the honor to give closing remarks. Our deepest appreciation also goes to all stakeholders, policymakers, researchers, NGOs, CSOs, experts, and practitioners for your input and active participation in sharing information and best practices on implementing policies, programs, and strategies to improve the lives of older persons in a sustainable and equitable manner. I have been a member of Help Each Network for 25 years, and I have attended numerous regional conferences all over the world. I also attended conferences organized by UNESCAP, UNFPA, WHO, etc., etc. But I wonder, because we always hear recommendations or policies or what the best practices are, etc., etc. But after 25 years, why do we still see neglected older persons, isolated older persons, access to health services, etc.? This is still a problem. After 25 years, I don't see much change. What is wrong? Please tell me. The good thing during this regional conference is that for the first time, there was an intergenerational forum. Because usually, when I attend conference, actually, to tell you the truth, I always see the same people. They give the presentations, will be lessons, the next conference is again like that, and I don't see the future older person generation present at this conference, while the messages are actually for them, not for us who are already old. I'm an older person, but like Help said, older but far from over. So, in 2 weeks' time, I will be 81, to tell you the truth. But this time, Sao Foundation organized an intergenerational forum, and you have heard what they had to say. And they are important to attend this international conference because we are talking about the future older person, not the current older person. Actually, just now I mentioned to Sri Vinastata, I don't like the word older persons. Because when you say old, you give the wrong message already. I prefer senior citizen. So my question was, why do we do not see much progress in the prosperity or the well-being of older persons? Policies are there, strategies are there, programs are there, conferences are there, meetings are there. But why? Why do we still the same problems? Especially I work with older persons directly on the field, especially with disadvantaged older persons. And I visit them regularly, each month, and I chat with them. And if you really listen to the voices of older persons, they don't demand much. They want peace, they have a roof, and they can have at least one meal a day. So when I listen to all this present is also beautiful and also good on paper. But what about the implementation? There is something wrong, but what is wrong? And I think we all know the answer. So that to ensure the effective implementation of the best practices discussed, there is an urgent need, like Prof. Tribudi mentioned, to establish again, because we had it before, a National Commission on Aging who will monitor all these policies and programs are really implemented in the field. It's just not words, it's just not just papers, because it means nothing if it's only during the conference, and after we go home we forget and we attend another conference. There must be a follow-up. But without an independent body who monitor all this implementation, it is hard to do. I just leave you all with one message. As I'm an older person, aging is a privilege denied to many. Many don't reach 60 years, 70 years. So I'm grateful that I could reach 80 years, and I'm still looking forward to many, many years ahead. Once again, our deepest gratitude to all of you for contributing to the success of this conference. Thank you.
Closing remarks and also very inspiring. Aging is a privilege. It is indeed, of course. So now, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the next closing remarks, we are honored to invite the Director General of Social Rehabilitations, the Ministry of Social Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, to also be on the stage. Please welcome Bapak Supomo.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore Bapak Ibu sekalian yang saya hormati. Izinkan kami membacakan sambutan Bapak Sekretaris Jenderal Kementerian Sosial yang semestinya pada mulai kemarin beliau kepingin datang, tapi di kementerian kami ada pergantian menteri, sehingga beliau harus menyiapkan, dan saat ini beliau terbang ke IKN ya, untuk mendampingi Pak Menteri dalam rapat kabinet. Izinkan saya membacakan karena ini adalah buah pemikiran beliau. Selamat sore, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Yang saya hormati Country Director United Nations Population Fund, yang terhormat Bapak Dewa Made Indra selaku Sekretaris Daerah Provinsi Bali atau yang mewakili, yang terhormat Ibu Woro Sri Hastuti selaku Deputi Bidang Peningkatan Kualitas Anak, Perempuan dan Pemuda dari Kementerian Kemenko PMK, yang terhormat Bapak Maliki selaku Deputi Bidang Kependudukan dan Ketenagakerjaan Kementerian PPN Bappenas, dan hadirin yang berbahagia. Pertama, marilah kita panjatkan puji syukur kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, karena pada kesempatan sore ini kita masih diberikan kesempatan, kesehatan dan perlindungannya, sehingga kita bisa bersama-sama hadir dalam pertemuan Asia Pacific Regional Conference on Population Aging yang dilaksanakan di Nusa Dua, Bali dan sudah berlangsung selama 4 hari. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati dan hadirin yang berbahagia, penuaan penduduk merupakan suatu proses alamiah, tidak hanya di Indonesia. Isu lansia menjadi isu global sejak tahun 2021. Indonesia telah memasuki struktur penduduk tua, di mana sekitar 1 dari 10 penduduk adalah lansia. Fenomena ini bisa menjadi bonus demografi kedua, yaitu ketika proporsi lansia semakin banyak, tetapi masih produktif dan dapat memberikan sumbangan bagi perekonomian negara. Akan tetapi, lansia dapat menjadi tantangan pembangunan ketika tidak produktif dan menjadi bagian dari penduduk rentan. Berdasarkan data sensus Maret 2023, memperlihatkan rasio ketergantungan lansia sebesar 17,08%. Artinya, setiap 100 orang penduduk usia produktif, umur 15 sampai 59 tahun, menanggung sekitar 17 orang lansia. Untuk mengantisipasi perubahan kondisi demografis tersebut, sangat penting untuk memastikan kesejahteraan lansia. Apalagi lansia cenderung mengalami penurunan kondisi kesehatan dan kemungkinan menyandang disabilitas. Lansia pun umumnya menjadi kurang produktif, sehingga mengalami penurunan dan bahkan kehilangan pendapatan. Berbagai kondisi tersebut menyebutkan lansia rentan terhadap berbagai resiko dan guncangan, khususnya terkait sosial ekonomi. Ada 2 faktor utama yang menjadikan lansia rentan, yaitu tidak produktif secara ekonomi dan masalah kesehatan. Oleh sebab itu, penyediaan program perlindungan sosial yang memadai bagi lansia menjadi penting. Program perlindungan sosial yang bersasaran lansia memungkinkan mereka untuk memenuhi kebutuhan dasarnya dan sampai batas tertentu dapat meringankan beban anggota keluarganya. Sebagaimana diamanatkan dalam Peraturan Presiden Nomor 88 Tahun 2021 tentang Strategi Nasional Kelanjut Usiaan, Kementerian Sosial sebagai salah satu pemangku kepentingan berperan aktif untuk menjalankan 9 indikator Stranas. Beberapa contoh dan praktek baik program perlindungan sosial bagi lansia diantaranya pemberian bantuan sosial bagi rumah tangga dengan lanjut usia, pembangunan perawatan jangka panjang bagi lanjut usia, di sentra, panti maupun loka, sertifikasi SDM Kesos dan akreditasi LKS lanjut usia. Dalam rentang waktu 5 tahun terakhir, persentase rumah tangga lansia yang menjadi penerima PKH semakin meningkat. Pada tahun 2023 terdapat 15,78% rumah tangga lansia yang tercatat sebagai penerima PKH. Selain itu, Susenas Maret 2023 mencatat ada sebanyak 2,73% rumah tangga lansia yang memperoleh asistensi rehabilitasi sosial lanjut usia dalam setahun terakhir ini. Pada tahun 2023, persentase rumah tangga lansia yang pernah mendapatkan program sembako sebesar 22,74% dan sekitar 75,10% lansia telah memiliki jaminan kesehatan nasional. Selanjutnya terkait kelembagaan dan stakeholder pada tahun 2024 tercatat sebanyak 2.130 orang pendamping rehabilitasi sosial yang tersebar di 38 provinsi dan 443 kabupaten kota, serta sebanyak 1.515 lembaga kesejahteraan lanjut usia yang telah terakreditasi dan atau terkonfirmasi aktif oleh Badan Akreditasi Lembaga Kesejahteraan Sosial sampai dengan Juni tahun 2024. Sebagai bentuk penghormatan, perlindungan, dan jaminan sosial bagi lansia, Kementerian Sosial juga memberikan bantuan berupa pemenuhan kebutuhan dasar dalam bentuk permakanan yang terdiri dari nasi, lauk, sayur, buah potong, dan air mineral yang diberikan sebanyak 2 kali sehari dan dikirimkan sekali pengantaran. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati dan hadirin sekalian yang berbahagia, memasuki RPJMN tahun 2025-2029, Kementerian Sosial berfokus pada integrasi perlindungan sosial adaptif yang salah satunya ditekankan pada intervensi pengembangan ekonomi perawatan bagi lansia. Program Care Ekonomi tengah dikembangkan Kementerian Sosial, dirancang untuk memenuhi kebutuhan perawatan kesehatan, kesejahteraan, dan sosial, baik melalui institusi ataupun keluarga dan komunitas. Salah satu upaya yang dikembangkan di lingkungan keluarga dan masyarakat yaitu dengan memberikan edukasi dan advokasi agar tercipta lingkungan yang ramah lansia, baik dari aspek lingkungan fisik maupun dari aspek lingkungan sosial adalah salah satu bentuk edukasi dan advokasi dalam mempermudah akses layanan lanjut usia. Khususnya untuk daerah 3T, daerah tertinggal, terdepan, dan terluar, adalah melalui pemanfaatan teknologi. Pemanfaatan teknologi tersebut diberikan agar lansia, keluarga, dan masyarakat dapat mengakses layanan, khususnya layanan kesehatan. Salah satu akses teknologi yang mendesak atau dalam ikhwal kedaruratan adalah penggunaan telemedicine yang memungkinkan lansia melakukan konsultasi kesehatan jarak jauh. Selanjutnya dari aspek sosial perlu dilakukan penguatan kualitas komunikasi lansia di dalam keluarga maupun komunitas sebagai bentuk dukungan emosional terhadap kesejahteraan lansia. Program atensi dan comment center yang telah dikembangkan Kementerian Sosial juga dapat memfasilitasi lansia untuk memperoleh akses layanan geriatri yang terintegrasi di berbagai rumah sakit. Selain itu, melalui pusat pendidikan dan pelatihan, Kementerian Sosial melakukan peningkatan kapasitas bagi tenaga perawat dan SDM kesejahteraan sosial. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati dan hadirin sekalian yang berbahagia, sebagai pesan penutup, saya berharap seluruh pihak yang terlibat dalam forum ini bersepakat bahwa perlindungan sosial bagi lanjut usia adalah prioritas nasional yang membutuhkan perhatian khusus dan kerjasama lintas sektor. Baik pemerintah pusat, daerah, swasta, perguruan tinggi, dan masyarakat. Komitmen yang kuat dari semua pihak sangat diperlukan dalam upaya mewujudkan layanan yang terintegrasi, holistik, dan sistematik bagi kesejahteraan lanjut usia di Indonesia. Demikian beberapa hal yang dapat kami sampaikan. Terima kasih atas segala perhatian, mohon maaf atas segala kekurangan. Sekretaris Jenderal Kementerian Sosial, Robin Riko, ditandatangani. Demikian Bapak Ibu, kami sampaikan sambutan Bapak Sekjen Kementerian Sosial. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Mohon maaf. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, for the next closing remarks, we're going to have the Director the Deputy Minister for Children, Women and Youth Quality Improvement from the Coordinating Ministry of Human Development and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia. Please join me in giving a round of applause to Ibu Woro Srihastuti S.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Since UNESCO has determined Indonesian language as an official language, so please allow me to deliver my speech in Bahasa. Yang saya hormati Dr. Aisat Siham, Minister of Social and Family Development Maldives, Shakiba Mohebi Tabar, Secretary of National Population Headquarters Islamic Republic of Iran, Aminat Hussein Sharif, State Minister of Social and Family Development Maldives, Khadija Abdul Samad Abdullah, State Minister of Health Maldives, Hari Prasad Mainali, Secretary of Health and Population Nepal, Bapak Maliki, Deputi Bidang Kependudukan dan Ketenagakerjaan Kementerian Perencanaan Pembangunan Nasional Bappenas, Bapak Supomo, Direktur Jenderal Rehabilitasi Sosial Kementerian Sosial, Bapak Bonifasius Prasetyo Ikhtiarto, mohon maaf, Deputi Bidang Pengendalian Penduduk BKKBN, Ibu Eva Sabdono, Yayasan Emong Lansia Indonesia, Reiko Hayashi, President of the 6th Asian Population Association Conference, perwakilan dari kementerian, lembaga, pemerintah, daerah, provinsi, kabupaten, kota, perwakilan dari mitra pembangunan, perwakilan dari organisasi masyarakat sipil, lembaga penelitian dan perusahaan swasta, para narasumber dari berbagai negara Asia Pasifik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam, salam sehat tentunya untuk kita semua. Bapak dan Ibu hadirin yang berbahagia, alhamdulillah atas perkenan Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, kita sudah sampai pada puncak acara 2024 Asia Pacific Regional Conference on Population Aging, Reframing Aging. Tentunya kami mengapresiasi kepada seluruh peserta, pengisi acara, para narasumber, kemudian juga tentunya organizer, Bappenas tentunya, para pejabat tinggi yang telah hadir, yang telah mengadakan acara ini dan telah berlangsung dengan lancar dan baik. Tercatat sebanyak 450 peserta menghadiri konferensi ini yang berasal dari luar negeri yang mencakup 39 negara di kawasan Asia dan Pasifik. Bapak dan Ibu hadirin yang berbahagia, Indonesia mengalami penuaan penduduk yang semakin cepat. Berdasarkan Susenas 2023, sebanyak 11,75% penduduk Indonesia atau sekitar 32,5 juta penduduk Indonesia termasuk kategori lanjut usia. Diperkirakan pada tahun 2045 jumlah lansia di Indonesia akan mencapai 20% penduduk atau lebih dari 60 juta jiwa. Isu pemberdayaan, kesetaraan hak, dan perlindungan lansia menjadi hal yang krusial. Kelompok lansia rentan menjadi dependent group bagi generasi muda yang tinggal bersama mereka. Oleh karena itu, isu kesejahteraan lansia dan ketersediaan akses terhadap perawatan jangka panjang dan lingkungan yang ramah lansia menjadi sangat penting. Isu terkait kerentanan lansia juga memiliki interseksionalitas dengan gender, status disabilitas, dan lainnya. Untuk itu diperlukan penguatan data terpadu yang dapat menggambarkan kebutuhan perawatan lansia berdasarkan gender, status disabilitas, ketersediaan layanan, dan status kesejahteraan untuk dapat menentukan intervensi yang tepat dan sesuai. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, pemenuhan hak dan perlindungan lansia menjadi salah satu isu strategis yang tercantum dalam RPJMN 2025-2029. Dalam hal perlindungan sosial, perubahan struktur dan peningkatan jumlah penduduk yang diiringi dengan peningkatan penduduk lansia menuntut peningkatan lingkungan yang inklusif dengan cakupan sistem perlindungan sosial yang lebih menyeluruh di sepanjang siklus kehidupan. Pemerintah Indonesia saat ini telah memiliki Peraturan Presiden Nomor 88 Tahun 2021 tentang Strategi Nasional Kelanjut Usiaan dan juga sudah meluncurkan Peta Jalan Ekonomi Perawatan yang salah satu isu strategisnya adalah layanan dan program perawatan lansia. Untuk itu, perlu diperhatikan bagaimana penyelarasan antara strategi nasional lanjut usia dan peta jalan tersebut dengan memastikan bagaimana pendekatan yang harus dilakukan dan pelayanan yang tepat serta produktivitas yang harus kita tingkatkan dari lansia dan bagaimana perawatan lansia bisa menjadi peluang kerja dengan tetap memperhatikan standarisasi lembaga layanan maupun profesionalitas dari para petugasnya. Bapak dan Ibu sekalian yang berbahagia, terdapat berbagai isu terkait urgensi perbaikan kebijakan dan pentingnya peningkatan kesadaran masyarakat untuk isu kelanjut usiaan. Antara lain, bagaimana kita dapat menyuarakan betapa pentingnya manfaat perawatan jangka panjang bagi lansia, peningkatan peranan keluarga dalam menyediakan perawatan berkelanjutan bagi lanjut usia, serta upaya yang harus dilakukan untuk mendorong kebijakan dan inisiatif untuk lanjut usia agar tetap aktif, sehingga dapat mencegah jatuhnya lansia pada kondisi rentan. Pemerintah pusat, daerah, dan swasta perlu memberikan dukungan antara lain dalam bentuk pendampingan pembentukan rumah perawatan, pelatihan tenaga perawat profesional, sarana dan prasarana pendukung, hingga operasional rumah perawatan yang berbasis komunitas. Saat ini semakin sedikit anggota keluarga yang memberikan dukungan pada lanjut usia karena mereka yang produktif merantau keluar daerah. Di samping itu, semakin banyak keluarga dengan generasi sandwich, yaitu usia produktif merawat 2 generasi, anak usia sekolah dan lanjut usia yang mengakibatkan beban finansial dan emosional dari keluarga menjadi sangat besar. Diperlukan sinergi yang kuat antar sektor maupun antar pelaku, dan tentunya harus dapat ditentukan siapa leading sektor yang harus menyinkronkan sehingga isu kelanjut usiaan, baik kebijakan, program atau kegiatan, mekanisme pelaksanaan maupun pengelolaan data dapat berjalan secara terpadu dan serasi. Bapak Ibu hadirin yang berbahagia, Asia Pacific Regional Conference on Population Aging dengan tajuk Reframing Aging telah membahas beberapa isu kontemporer kelanjut usiaan. Penuaan yang produktif, teknologi dan penuaan penduduk, perubahan iklim, peran komunitas dan perawatan, serta perlindungan sosial bagi lanjut usia. Kita perlu mengoptimalkan lansia sebagai kekuatan dalam komunitas untuk upaya bersama lintas generasi dalam pembangunan, termasuk bagaimana adaptasi dan mitigasi perubahan iklim. Selama 2 hari kita belajar bagaimana perawatan lanjut usia dan penciptaan lingkungan yang ramah terhadap lansia tidak mungkin dilakukan sendiri oleh pemerintah di negara seperti Indonesia dan negara Asia Pasifik lainnya. Keluarga dan komunitas masih menjadi sumber daya utama dan pendamping yang paling kuat bagi lanjut usia. Karenanya, upaya kebijakan untuk menyejahterakan lanjut usia menjadi jauh lebih efektif apabila memanfaatkan komunitas dan keluarga. Kita juga belajar bahwa tidak semua lanjut usia bisa melalui masa tuanya dalam keadaan sehat, produktif, dan sejahtera. Dalam sesi National Transfer Account, kita juga belajar bagaimana menjembatani antara analisis dan mitigasi kebijakan yang diperlukan pemerintah untuk mempersiapkan kesejahteraan lansia di masa depan. Sebagian lansia, meskipun jumlahnya sedikit, adalah mereka yang memiliki hambatan cukup besar untuk melaksanakan aktivitas hariannya. Indonesia dan negara Asia Pasifik harus sudah mulai berpikir bagaimana pemenuhan pengasuhan bagi lanjut usia menjadi bagian sentral dari kebijakan. Dengan jumlah lansia yang semakin banyak, maka kebutuhan akan perawatan menjadi semakin tinggi. Kewajiban kita sebagai pemerintah, organisasi, masyarakat, dan mitra pembangunan untuk mendorong agar kebutuhan perawatan ini terpenuhi baik melalui jalur publik maupun swasta. Lanjut usia yang sehat sangat berpotensi untuk tetap aktif dalam kegiatan sosial, ekonomi, maupun politik. Namun kesempatan bagi lanjut usia untuk menyalurkan potensinya sangat terbatas. Ini merupakan tantangan mengingat Indonesia masih memiliki penduduk usia produktif yang cukup tinggi. Jalan tengah harus dicari agar kesempatan ekonomi, sosial, dan politik terbuka dan dapat diakses dengan setara oleh lanjut usia bersama-sama dengan kelompok usia produktif. Bapak Ibu hadirin yang berbahagia, pemerintah Indonesia berkomitmen untuk menindaklanjuti terbentuknya kerangka kebijakan dan regulasi untuk menjamin hak dan kebutuhan lanjut usia untuk berdaya, terlindungi, dan berpartisipasi secara ekonomi. Untuk itu diperlukan kebijakan yang mendukung penguatan keluarga dan masyarakat dalam mengembangkan lingkungan yang ramah lansia. Komitmen pemerintah mencakup penguatan koordinasi dalam kebijakan lansia yang dilaksanakan lintas sektor, lintas lembaga, bersama pihak swasta dan masyarakat. Selain itu juga komitmen untuk berkontribusi secara internasional termasuk bagaimana kita menjawab isu terkait dengan kesejahteraan lansia. Hadirin yang saya hormati, sebagai akhir kata saya berharap bahwa pelaksanaan konferensi ini akan memberikan wawasan baru kepada segenap peserta dengan berbagai inisiatif dan good practices dari berbagai negara, mencakup perwakilan dari pemerintah pusat, pemerintah daerah, lembaga penelitian, mitra pembangunan, perusahaan swasta dari Indonesia dan segenap negara Asia Pasifik untuk bekerja sama mewujudkan lansia yang mandiri, sejahtera dan bermartabat dengan semangat kolaboratif, dan yang terpenting adalah menindaklanjuti berbagai rekomendasi yang telah dihasilkan melalui konferensi ini. Demikian yang bisa kami sampaikan. Sekali lagi terima kasih dan mohon maaf kalau ada kekurangan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much. Terima kasih to Ibu Bonus Kustias, Deputy Minister for Children, Youth and Youth Quality Improvement, Coordinating Ministry for Human Development and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia. Next, we're going to also hear a closing remarks delivered by the Director of the Social Development Division of ESCAP. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on the stage Mr. Srinivas Tata.
Excellencies, colleagues, distinguished participants, it is my honor to deliver very brief a vote of thanks on behalf of the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia Pacific to the organizers and participants of this wonderful conference. I'd like to start by thanking our host, the Government of Indonesia, in particular the Ministry of Development Planning, Bappenas. Pak Maliki, you and your team have done extremely proud. You made us extremely welcome. The organization was wonderful. I don't think we have in recent past seen such a beautiful conference center. Your hospitality has been extremely warm, and above all, the facilities have been perfect. And so thank you very much on behalf. I'd also like to extend our thanks to our sister UN agency, but they deserve equal amount of praise, the United Nations Population Fund, or UNFPA. P.O. Smith left this morning, but he and his team were really contributing to the planning as well as the funding of this conference. I know the UNFPA country team also here put in a lot of coordination, and we would like to really thank them for their hard work. Last but not least, I'd like to focus on our organizers, the third organizer, which is HelpAge International. Mr. Cherian, thank you so much for inspiring us with your presence and active participation throughout with all your team from London. But we know the man here, Eduardo Clean, with his energy, his passion, and above all, his belief in improving, always his drive for improving the lot of older persons throughout our region. Eduardo, you are a superman, and I think I hope you will continue to strive and organize many such conferences and your activities throughout. Thank you so much. And apart from that, of course, I can't stop without thanking every single one of the participants, the senior ministers who have been here from a number of countries, the participants from 38 countries, the older persons themselves, and the younger people who have been here, the senior citizens, as I have been corrected by Ibu Eva. But yes, thank you so much for every one of the participants. I think we go back, all of us, with one outcome. I mean, each one of us are drawing our own outcomes. Perhaps it's a new idea, perhaps it's a new contact or friend, perhaps it's new knowledge, perhaps it's a new partner, and perhaps it's a new determination. And I think many seeds have been sown. I hope they will be flowering very soon. And so thank you very much. I leave you with those thoughts.
Mr. Srinivas Tata, the Director of the Social Development Division, ESCAP. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite the Superman, as mentioned earlier, with the secret superpower of patience and dedication, to also deliver his closing remarks. Please welcome on the stage Mr. Eduardo Clean, the Asia Pacific Regional Representative.
I'm humbled, but I'm not Superman. I'm just part of a team. I was counting how many people, sorry, distinguished Minister, Excellencies, but I was counting how many people were engaged in this, preparing this conference, in thinking of this conference first as in the experts group meeting, in all the logistics that, the work that, fantastic work that Bapenas has done, in all the sessions, in all the note takers, in everyone. There were 112 persons involved in the development of this regional conference. And I think the success of it is thank you to all of that, all of them, all of you. Thank you very much. And I can only say that we look forward to 2026, where we hope to have a next regional conference, where it's up for grabs. Thank you very much.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the next closing remarks. And this is really the final closing remarks that we have today. We are very delighted to invite the Deputy Minister for Population and Manpower, the Ministry of National Development Planning of the Republic of Indonesia. Please welcome Bapak Maliki.
So I am the last trained. You will be free soon. The Honorable of the Minister of Social and Family Development, of Minister of Health from Maldives, and the Honorable of Secretary of National Population Headquarters from Islamic Republic of Iran, Secretary of Health from Nepal, Honorable Deputy Ministers, the dearest one, for the improvement of the quality of children, women, youth, and maybe also elderly, coordinating Ministry of Human Development and Culture, Republic of Indonesia, and Honorable Deputy for Population Policy Control, Family Planning Agency, Pak Boni, and also the most important persons for the elderly as well, Honorable Director General for Social Rehabilitation for Elderly, Minister of Social Affairs. Honorable Excellencies, delegates, and all participants, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Good evening, I guess. So we have finally arrived at the end of the 2024 Asia Pacific Regional Conference on Population Aging, Reframing Aging. So it has been a very fruitful 2 days with numerous insights and lessons from each country's good case practices. For your information, we have for 2 days, we have like 202 from national participants. And also we have 234 from international participants. That's quite achievement, I guess. I think this one is very good one. And we also, as according to Eduardo, we also is attending like around 38 countries by Eduardo, yeah? So, then first of all, I would like also to appreciate UNFPA, HelpAge, and the team also from the Ministry of National Development Planning. So for this special occasion, I would like to ask some of the very hard workers for making this conference happen to raise, so then you can run applause for them. Ibu Tirta, can you standing? So Bu Tirta is the Director for Poverty Alleviation. He is the one that actually behind of the successful one. And also Dinar. Where is Dinar? So Dinar is the key for all my speech. So without him, I cannot speak anything. And also, I think Palifi is already left. And Dino, where is Dino? All the technical things is also like his hard work. And also I would like to appreciate for the UNFPA staff. Here is Wanasa. I see the Wanasa is like just right behind. Oh, she just left? Oh, maybe she cannot like wait to go to the beach. So I would also want to thank and express my acknowledgement to all speakers, chairs, and participants for actively participating in this event, both those who came all the way to Bali and those who have joined us virtually also from around the world. And it is almost like more than 1,000. Yeah. This two-day conference has given us knowledge and understanding and enriched our knowledge and of many best practices, governance, and initiatives across the regions, particularly on aging issues and older people's welfare. This forum reminds us that aging should be at the forefront of every nation's development pathway. We will, after all, become older one day, so we should prepare a place for living that is inclusive for everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout the last 2 days, we have established various things on the issues of older people. The opening remarks show us the directions we needed to take, and the high-level panel gave us comparisons of Maldives, China, Islamic Republic of Iran, and also Indonesia experience in ensuring the well-being of the older people. Right-based and also life cycle approach is important principles in reframing aging. Therefore, we have to protect our child and youth for better access to health and education and living environment to create productive aging. Fostering social inclusion is vital for older people because it will provide benefits such as encourages active participation in society, strengthen community bonds, prevents marginalizations, enhances independence and dignity, reducing social barriers, and promotes older people for participating in society. The 6 sub-themes of the plenary session have demonstrated how complex the issues of the older people is. Through these sub-themes, we aim to look for a better understanding of all people's programs and policies to more inclusive multi-sectoral outcomes, including the empowerment of older people, creating climate resilient program for older people, how communities also impact older people, digitalizations of current and future older people, the need to expand social protections, and the issue of care work. The plenary sessions have clearly highlighted the need for appropriate cooperation and partnerships across development sectors to ensure older people's welfare. From this event, we have learned each other about harnessing the productive capacity of an aging workforce involves creating inclusive environments that promote lifelong learning, work arrangements, and leveraging older workers' expertise. By integrating technology and addressing age-related barriers will help maximize productivity and reduce age discriminations. Related with the global issue, climate change and heat stress disproportionately impact older adults, necessitating targeted interventions. Strengthening resilience through enhanced healthcare, infrastructures, and social safety nets is crucial. In the Asia-Pacific regions, social pensions are vital, securing older adults' financial stability, reducing poverty, and also improving overall well-being. Expanding these programs enables better protection against climate-related risks. Socioeconomic policies supporting productive aging and sustainable development focus on fair resources distribution, developing age-friendly cities and communities, advancing intergenerational connection through technology, and building robust long-term care systems are also critical. By promoting inclusivity and reducing the digital divide, all the population can stay connected, engaged, and empowered to thrive in a rapidly changing society. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past few days, we have engaged in meaningful discussions, shared novel solutions, and deepened our understanding of the complex challenges and opportunities from population aging in our regions. An aging population is a shared reality that demands a collective response. Hence, I would like to invite all of you, as representatives of your respective countries, to take the momentum from this conference and translate it into action, as what Bu Eva already reminded all the time to us as a government. So we must foster collaboration among sectoral leaders and engage with the regional level for a grassroots perspective. We should collaborate to improve access to essential medication, healthcare for elderly, promote lifelong education, promote healthy lifestyles among the young and middle-aged populations. We should also develop inclusive frameworks that will allow us to plan and build a country that is prepared to face any changes, including the demographic evolutions. Finally, let us start prioritizing all the people in national development by allowing funding for their welfare programs and strengthening current policies to be suitable to their needs. Working to make the world more age-friendly is an essential and urgent part of our changing demographics. By doing so, we can create a future where every older person in the Asia-Pacific enjoys a high quality of life and where aging is embraced as the golden age of humankind. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all speakers, again, participants, and organizers who have contributed to the success of this conference. Your dedication and support are truly commendable. As we return our respected roles and regions, let us carry forward the spirit of cooperation and share responsibility that has marked our discussion here. In closing, let us see the end of this conference as a conclusion, not as a conclusion, but as the beginning of the new chapter in our collective efforts. I firmly believe that the global partnerships are the key to achieve our goals of building an inclusive society. Together, we can turn our shared visions into reality and make a profound differences in the lives of older populations across the Asia-Pacific regions. Thank you again all for your participation, your commitment, and your enthusiasm to make a positive impact. Safe travels and enjoy Bali, and I look forward to the many achievements that will surely come from our dialogue in the next meeting, 2026. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much to Bapak Maliki. Please remain seated. Mohon untuk tetap di tempat. As we will now continue with the photo session, therefore I would like to invite to join us here on the stage, Ibu Eva, Bapak Supomo, and then also Ibu Woro, Mr. Srinivastata, and of course Eduardo Cliff to also join Bapak Maliki on the stage for a final photo session to mark that our APRC 2024 is officially closed. So once again, thank you so much. And this concludes the APRC 2024 for the conference. Tomorrow we still have the field visit. So please also be reminded to check whether you are already registered and then to which options or to which locations you are registered at, and also the shuttle or the seating arrangements for the shuttle tomorrow. 3, 2, 1. And we would like to also invite all of the VIPs in the first row to also join them on the stage for a final group photos. Please. Ladies and gentlemen, before leaving this ballroom, the Pachatu Hall, please be reminded that the interpreter receiver is only able to be used here in the ballroom. Dr. Mariam Saul, please also join us here on the stage. So once again, please return back the interpreter receiver at the counter behind you. Dimohon untuk bisa mengembalikan receiver interpreter di counter yang tersedia. And also, ladies and gentlemen, later on we will also display once again the QR in order for those who are already registered themselves to recheck or double check for the field visit tomorrow. And before leaving this Pachatu Hall, please double check on your own personal belongings. So once again, just to make sure that you left nothing, please double check all of your personal belongings before leaving the Pachatu Hall. 3, 2, 1. Please look at the main photographer. The main photographer is the one that raised his hand. Boleh angkat tangan untuk fotografer utama. Fotografer utama boleh mengangkat tangan. Please kindly look at through his lens, through his camera lens. One more time. A photo session. One more time. Mr. Edward Renoso, Bapak Maliki. Yes. In 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, we have come to the end of the Asia-Pacific Regional Conference on Population Aging. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to express our sincere gratitude. Thank you so much. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for the dedication. And also, thank you for the energy and the positive vibes. I'm Diana Riswari signing off. Stay safe, stay healthy, and yes, enjoy your evening, enjoy your time here in the Paradise Islands of Bali. Have a wonderful days ahead.